Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, suspected Boko Haram attackers kill Chief Imam, vigilante in Borno. Crisis in Rivers as Assembly moves to impeach Fubara.
Your Excellency, if you think I'm going to go away, forget about it.
On the foreign scene, Israel hit 600 targets in Gaza in 24 hours. Hello there, and many thanks for joining us in the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Abdurrahman Omar. You're welcome. Now, let's begin on this note. Suspected Boko Haram insurgents have reportedly killed the chief imam of Kaga, Imam Goni Mukhtar, and a vigilante in Kaga local government area of Borno State. It was learned that the insurgents in the Volkswagen Golf stormed the imam's residence at Malamti, an outskirt of Benin Sheikh, at about 12:30 a.m. on Monday. A civilian Joint Task Force source told Daily Trust that the motive of operation was purely that of insurgents. He said one of the vigilantes on duty was taken away by the attackers, adding that this is the second chief imam killed in Kaga in just 2 months. According to the civilian GTF, the root cause of the incident could not be immediately ascertained. Now, joining us via phone to discuss the attack is Daily Trust reporter in Borno, Olatunji Omerin. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us on News Hour, Mr. Ola. Now, give us a picture of how this attack happened, especially what the security operatives are doing about it.
Yes, the attack happened. We have multiple attacks in the recent days, especially from the weekend to this morning. We witnessed an attack in Kaga local government area of Borno State, in Konduga, and of course, Bama. Chief Imam of Kaga local government was killed in his village outskirts of Benisek in Malorambi around 12:30 to 1 o'clock last night. And according to the civilian JTF, I was told that one of the vigilantes that was guiding him also was forcefully taken away. Of course, last week, someone was also killed in the same community. And I think in the recent time, the Boko Haram have started attacking, and they're using all these guerrilla fighting operations to ensure that they hit their target. And on Saturday, on Meriguri Damaturu Highway, Boko Haram also kidnapped some passengers. They were coming from Abuja for a funeral of their father. And up to now, we are speaking about 6 of them are still held with insurgency. And today, I was just told this evening that a police officer and inspector also was killed in Bama local government area of the state. And he was killed, and his travel and uniform was taken away. So these are the things that in the last 3 days that we have recorded. And of course, the Nigerian military have been also doing wonderfully well, especially in the Lake Chad region, that is in Marite, Kukawa local government area, and especially in the fringe of Lake Chad. So these are the things that we have.
All right. Is this attack some sort of indicator of a larger issue about the resurgence of terrorists in Borno, or is this an isolated incident, given that this is the second imam that was killed in just 2 months in the area?
Yes. We cannot actually rule out this pocket of attacks, though the peace has actually returned to some of the local government, especially like Kaga local government is on highway Meriguri Kano Road. When you are going to Damaturu, yes, the community is situated along the highway. And in recent, more than 2 years now, there was no any major attack in that area. But with last month, someone was killed, and also a week ago, also someone was killed. And with this attack, it means that the security authorities needs also to wake up and they find another means to ensure that they bring down the resurgency.
All right. At the moment, what can you tell us about the mood of the community in the aftermath of the attack?
Yes, I can tell you because I spoke with about 3 people this afternoon. The mood in that community was they were sad, they were not happy, and of course, they also are saying that they will not be deterred to ensure that even if the chief imam has been killed, they will not be deterred by this incident. They are going to ensure that see the end and ensure that they fish out all the Boko Haram fighter, especially in that locality. So the mood in that community was not good, and people are so tense.
All right, Olatunji Omeren is a Daily Trust reporter in Borno State. Once again, thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, still on security matters, as armed invaders have reportedly killed 7 people in 2 communities in Wa West local government area of Benue State. Locals said that the attacks occurred on Sunday in Tsagomba community and another settlement along Naka Agagbe, both in Wa West local government area. The villagers said that while 4 people were killed in the early Sunday morning attack on Tsagomba in Senege Council Ward, 3 persons were killed in the evening on the same day at Camp Nagi in Bachohon Council Ward, a settlement along Naga Agagbe Road. An internally displaced persons IDP's camp manager in Agagbe, Tana Iba Jacob, told Daily Trust that some of the deceased had been displaced from their community and living either in camps or host community. The police public relations officer PPRO Benue State Command, SP Catherine Anini, however, confirmed 3 people dead. In another development, a former chairman of Okum local government area in Benue State, elderly Raymond Washima Eruka, has died in captivity. Eruka, an octogenarian, was abducted from his home at Se Eruka in Zakibiam on September 23, 2023. He was the pioneer chairman of Okum local government area founded in 1981 and father of former Channels television correspondent Charles Eruka. His eldest surviving son, Charles Eruka, confirmed to journalists in Makurdi that the family got wind of their father's death on October 27, 2023. Charles said that his late father was held till his death by the kidnappers for 34 days, despite ransom paid at different times, and even the subsequent hostage of his cousin, Ben Jones Eruka, by the kidnappers when he went to deliver the first 1 million ransom. He said the kidnappers had promised to release both men, but only his cousin, Arube, was released. Meanwhile, the police in Benue State had yet to comment on the latest development. Now, there is tension in Rivers State as political unrest takes over the polity after moves by some members of the State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Similaye Fubara. The Rivers State House of Assembly has issued a notice of impeachment to Governor Sim Fubara. The House also suspended 3 lawmakers. In a twist, the sacked lawmakers got support and suspended 24 out of the 32 lawmakers that make up the House. They also removed the Chief Judge of the state and authorized the governor to appoint a new acting Chief Judge. As the threats of impeachment continued and fears of job security increased, the governor has sacked all the 23 local council chairmen regarded as former Governor Nyesom Wike mobilization and fighting base. The governor has also dissolved the State Executive Council. Many say every commissioner was nominated by Nyesom Wike.
What was happened to see? We start with him. We start with him. We start with him.
Now, earlier we spoke to Victor Dozie from Port Harcourt, now gives us an update on the incident.
Between River State Governor Sim Fubara and the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Wike, on Sunday took a dramatic dimension when suspected arsonists invaded River State House of Assembly and set ablaze the hallowed chamber of the Assembly. The Governor and the Minister of Federal Capital Territory for some time now has been maintaining a cat and dog relationship over issues that have not been made public. On Monday, the two members of the Assembly converged at the Assembly complex and initiated an impeachment process against the Governor. But before then, the majority leader of the Assembly, who is said to be very, very loyal to the Governor, were removed as the leader of the Assembly. Announcing the removal of the leader of Assembly, Edis Ehi, the Speaker of the River State House Assembly, Honorable Martins Amekule, said that the majority leader was removed because of his failure to attend the Assembly sitting on Monday. While the members of Assembly were sitting, hundreds of youths, allegedly loyal to the Governor, stormed the Assembly and threatened to invade the Assembly complex. But they were repelled by security agencies who have cordoned off the entire Assembly complex. As I speak now, all the roads leading to the Assembly complex located at the popular Moscow Road in Port Harcourt have been cordoned off by police with several armored tanks. The youth of the state who are loyal to the Governor have equalized Government House, Port Harcourt, and barricaded the entrance to the Government House. The youth are saying that it is too early to impeach a governor who has spent barely 7 months in office. The youth say that the Governor has not committed any impeachable offense that would have warranted his being an impeachment process being initiated by the Assembly. As I speak right now, the entire state are under tension. Fierce-looking policemen have taken,
In the meantime, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the February 25th election, Atiku Abubakar, has called for major reforms in Nigeria's electoral law that will fast-track litigation and promote effective electoral processes that will enhance Nigeria's democracy. The former vice president made the appeal while reacting to the Supreme Court verdict at a press conference in Abuja, reiterating his commitment to staying politically active. Trust TV's Sheffield Suleiman reports.
Speaking on the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment regarding the discovery from the Chicago State University, the former vice president accused the judiciary of legitimizing certificate forgery, identity theft, forgery, amongst other allegations.
If the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, implies by its judgment that crime is good and should be rewarded, then Nigeria has lost, and the country is doomed irrespective of who occupies the presidential seat.
Atiku says he is not leaving Nigeria despite losing his case at the Supreme Court, as claimed in some quarters, maintaining that he will remain active in politics to deepen Nigeria's democracy while highlighting the gaps in Nigeria's electoral and judicial systems that need urgent reforms.
As for me and my party, this phase of work is done. However, I'm not going to go away. If you think I'm going to go away, forget about it.
Also speaking at the conference, the PDP National Chairman Umar Damagun says the PDP, as the main opposition party, will not be deterred by the Apex Court judgment on the outcome of the presidential election. Instead, it will remain resolute in the task of rescuing the country from bad governance.
We may be disappointed, but one thing I want to reiterate here is that we are not deterred. We are not deterred because we know what is on the ground, we know what happened, and they said only the truth can reign.
The PDP presidential candidate who came second in the February 25 election was at the Supreme Court to challenge the verdict of Presidential Election Court, affirming President Bola Tinubu's mandate as he sought to admit his findings at the CSU on alleged certificate forgery, which was turned down by the Apex Court. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has issued a 72-hour ultimatum to 6 heads of federal government agencies and higher educational institutions to appear before the panel to answer queries emanating from the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation over 300 billion naira audit query. The House Committee further stated that the letter's invitation of the 6 agencies and institutions is the final warning before a warrant of arrest will be sought by the committee. Chairman of the House Committee, Honorable Bamidele Salam, gave the warning at the resumed hearing of the committee after the agencies failed to honor the committee's invitation. According to the committee chairman, the invitation of the heads of the agencies to the investigative hearing was to answer questions on the queries from the report of the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation to the committee.
Some of these agencies had been in the habit of treating invitations and summons by the Public Accounts Committee with contempt in the previous assembly. And if they do not know, it is a different ball game this time around. And we are going to use all the powers donated to us by the Nigerian people through the Constitution to ensure that every kobo, every naira of the Nigerian people given to anyone to spend is spent in a lawful, prudent, transparent and accountable manner. Anything short of that will not be acceptable.
The power of investigation that's given to us is in our ground law. Section 88 of the Constitution is very clear. Section 89, subsection 1C, gives us the power to invite anybody, and that witness must appear.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a supplementary budget worth 2.176 trillion naira to fund urgent projects and commitments of the federal government. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Atiku Bagudu revealed this to newsmen on Monday after a meeting of the Federal Executive Council. He spoke on a day the cabinet approved the award of contracts for the construction of access roads to the Abuja light rail at the cost of 5.5 billion naira. Kende Amadou reports.
There was always going to be a supplementary budget with the financial commitments the president had entered into while trying to steer the ship of state through stormy waters. This supplementary budget is aimed at funding urgent issues pertaining to national defense and security, for which 605 billion naira has been set aside. In addition to this, 300 billion naira has been earmarked to repair bridges, including the Eko and Third Mainland bridges. Equally, the sum of 210 billion naira has been provided in the budget for the payment of wage awards and 400 billion naira as cash transfer payments.
Equally, there is a question on the wage award. Why did I say September, October? This is a supplementary budget for 2023. So the supplementary budget is providing money for this year. Whatever is incidental to this year, whatever is for 2024 will be included in 22. In fact, that is why this budget even became urgent, because we negotiated with Labour. They were promised payments will be made this year for some categories of the negotiation, and there was no budgetary provisions. And that's one of the reasons why we are doing.
Meanwhile, the Council of Ministers approved 5.5 billion naira for access roads to the Abuja light rail. This is in addition to 100 billion naira that has been provided in the supplementary budget for urgent and immediate capital expenditure works in the Federal Capital Territory to enhance infrastructure.
Today, Council approved the award of contract for the construction of access roads for the Abuja light rail. You are aware that Mr. President has given a directive that he will want to ride on the metro line. And now it will not be possible if there are no access roads to commuters, to communities around. Last week, Council did approve about 3, but this one has to do with Lot 4. Lot 4 has to do with communities around the airport, and then where you have the Hajj camp. If you don't create parks, if you don't put access roads, it will be difficult. And so the council decided to approve this to Mr. CCECC at a cost of 5.9 billion. We believe with this access road being created on car parks, we believe hopefully by next year, most of us will be joining the metro line.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has been provided with 18 billion naira to conduct elections in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo states. Meanwhile, 5.5 billion naira was provided for the funding of the Student Loans Board, while 8 billion naira was set aside for the takeoff grant of new ministries. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
And now on judicial matters, a federal high court in Lagos on Monday further adjourned until November 13th and 30th for continuation of the trial of Nigerian singer Aziz Fashola, aka Naira Marley, charged with cybercrime. Justice Nicholas Oyibo adjourned the case following the defendant's absence from court. Reports say that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is prosecuting the defendant on charges bordering on cybercrime. The anti-graft agency preferred the charges on May 14, 2019. Naira Marley, who sang the popular song Amaya Boy, was consequently arraigned on May 20, 2019 before Justice Nicholas Oyibo, but he pleaded not guilty. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. African Americans get a glimpse of the slave trade in Badagry. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
That's right, you too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy Operations Fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not about you.
I'm coming. Let me finish.
But there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No. is about collective responsibility for all of us. And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago, you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. And here is a recap of some of our top stories. Suspected Boko Haram attackers kill Chief Imam, vigilante in Borno.
National Working Committee or Great Party
to impeach Fubara. Now to other stories. Nigeria's power sector has been undergoing reforms for the past 2 decades, with privatization positioned as the solution to underdevelopment and underperformance of the industry. The gradual transition from estimated billing through the provision of prepaid meters is not moving fast enough to cover customers despite the government's national mass metering project. Some unmetered residents in Kaduna are decrying the difficulties involved in getting prepaid meters as they are forced to continue paying estimated bills. Trust TV's Bella Musa has more on this story.
Power supply is a big challenge in Nigeria for residents and businesses who remain underserved, despite billions of naira spent to reposition the industry. Estimated billing, which has been the practice for decades, is still operational today as the national mass metering programs fell short of expectations, with millions of households unmetered and unhappy.
For me, personally, I think the billing was better than this prepaid. The prepaid is nice because it's efficient. Like, you can buy a card very fast. You can load from your phone, from your mobile phone. It's easy, but the rate, the tariff is very high. So
prepaid is something that if you don't have a source of income, that you at the end of the day you have a lot of electric appliances in your house. Honestly, a lot you cannot be able to meet up.
Haruna Hanapi is a small business operator who pays for electricity using estimated billing to run his business. Haruna remains unmetered because prepaid meters are hard to come by.
Babu wanda ya taba kawo mana ita. Hasali ma mun yi nema akan ta don.
No one has ever brought the meter to us. We tried to get it, but we were told that we have to pay 40,000 naira after booking, and it will reach 3 to 4 months before we get the meter.
Su ma can in an kawo sannan su zo su sa mana.
According to some residents, prepaid meters are still being bypassed, leading to energy theft by some customers.
50% of those using prepaid, they are bypassing. 50% of those using prepaid, they are bypassing. That's why you notice that some of those residential areas now, all those new areas, settlement, you will notice that if they want to build their meter, they will put it inside their room. Because they know in the afternoon, when the neighbors will be walking around just to check whether if you bypass your meter, they cannot be able to check in.
Energy thefts, either in the form of meter bypass, meter tampering, illegal connection or illegal extension of supply, is one of the greatest threats to energy accountability and revenue assurance. And the company is seriously bleeding as a result of these activities.
According to reports, illegal connections have led shortfall in revenue for electricity distribution companies. In 2022, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission revealed that the total billings to consumers by the distribution companies was 1.185 trillion naira. Only 841.81 billion naira was collected, leaving a total outstanding balance of 343.50 billion naira. The multifaceted challenges in the power sector continues to linger as Nigerians hope for better days ahead. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Governor Abba Kabir of Kano State has handed over conjoined twins to doctors from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to undergo surgical operations. The separation of the twins has generated public interest and will now be facilitated by the King Salman Humanitarian and Relief Center with the support of the Kano State government. Born in Gangara Town, Giwa local government area of Kaduna State, the 2-year-old twins share same organs, making the process of separation delicate. In the days to come, after a successful surgery, Hassana and Husseina are expected to lead separate lives biologically.
I must say that I feel highly delighted and extremely happy. You can see it from my face, you can see it from the reaction of most of our people that we appreciated this gesture and we felt on top of the world seeing the king in his usual humanitarian gesture, sympathy for the people, not only Nigeria, but the entire humanity. Don't forget, even last year, His Highness sent a team of doctors, professional doctors, who came and conducted open heart surgery for almost 50-something people at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. He also sent a team of eye doctors who also came and operated almost 3,000 blind people and other people that have eye problems in Kano.
So this is not the first time that the conjoined twins sent to the Saudi Arabia. They did it last December, and Alhamdulillah, the operation was conducted successfully, and now they have been separated, all of them walking along. And he asks the Almighty Allah, inshallah, to this operation also to be successful.
In another development, 5 suspected rapists have been arrested by the Nasarawa State Command of Security and Civil Defense Corps. Public Relations Officer of the command, Jerry Victor, made this known while parading the suspects in Labia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
Parading the 5 suspected rapists, the Public Relations Officer of Nasarawa State NSCDC Command, Jerry Victor, said the suspects committed the offences at different times in Nasarawa, Egon, and Awe local government areas of the state. The PPRO of NSCDC explained that the worst case was that of 15-year-old John Ishaku, who raped an 8-year-old girl in Nasarawa, Egon local government area.
The mother got to know the next day when the victim was walking not normal. And immediately when she inquired from the little girl, it was when then the little girl now have to open up to her that this is what the suspect John Ishaku did to her. Upon examination, she got to understand that there was a tear in her private part, and she rushed her to the hospital. In fact, upon examining her by the doctor now felt it is important and very necessary for the security agencies to get involved in this matter.
According to the NSCDC, a primary school teacher, Abdul Wahab Bello, and Taimako raped 8 and 13-year-old girls in their respective places. The PPRO reiterated the command readiness to conclude investigations and prosecute the suspects before the courts of law. He cautions parents and wards to monitor the movement of their children.
The movement of their children, especially what we usually say, especially the female folk, because we all know that they need more care, more than the male counterpart.
Activities of rapists have become common and prevalent in recent times. Security personnel and other stakeholders have been advised to put stringent measures in place to curb the trend.
Centuries of transatlantic slave trade were put on display during the Diaspora Door of Return Festival at Badagry, Lagos State. African Americans witnessed the festival at the ancient historical city of Badagry to tour the transatlantic slave route to understand their ancestry. Abdulatif Aliyu files in the report as presented.
Africa and Nigeria in particular experienced centuries of transatlantic slave trade, which involved the transportation of slaves captured or sold out to slave trade through the sea. The slave traders, mainly from America, Portugal, Brazil and European countries, were historically known to ship their victims out of Nigeria through Badagry, the ancient city of Lagos, which is full of relics from the 16th to the 19th century. The festival portrays the tragedy of the transatlantic slave trade, exposing man's inhumanity to man and the dehumanization suffered by the progenitors of the African descent in the hands of the slave traders. Many African Americans were on ground to tour the routes where captured slaves were taken through to the point of no return in the Atlantic Ocean. The festival, therefore, was an appreciation of the resilience, tenacity, the strong-spirited courage of Africans who have in many instances emerged as some of the best in the world despite of the trauma of not only the transatlantic slavery but colonization. Lagos Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said Africa deserves to be compensated by the European nations for the pains and trauma of slavery.
We will continue to forge ahead in dignity, honor, as proud members of the human race.
Dr. Julius Garvey, son of legendary Marcus Garvey, was one of the new faces at the festival, leading the pack of the African Americans who had returned to trace their roots.
The joy of return will call black people and African people from all over the diaspora, not just North America, to come and to put their feet on the ground so they can say there is a place you're actually from. Cool. And it's not a color, it's a continent and maybe a country. It could be Senegal, it could be Ghana, it can be Nigeria, it can be Kenya, it can be anywhere. And so that this walk that you're walking, even though it was known as the point of no return.
The Akran of Badagry, Dewenu Ahulumenu Toyi I, who played host to the visitors, bestowed some of the visiting African Americans with traditional titles. Giving context to the festival, Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Abike Dabiri Arewa explained that the festival started in 2017. She said some of the returnees were coming for the first time and have indicated interest to invest in Nigeria and build Diaspora Palace in Badagry.
There are too many hidden treasures, particularly in tourism in Nigeria. Badagry is just one of them. So this is the diaspora content to tourism. So we're exploring the diaspora tourism. As Dr. Anderson always says, conversation breeds comprehension. If you don't understand me, you can't know who I am. So they'll be coming to Nigeria and say, listen, this is who you are. You have such a beautiful country. We want to invest in your country. They want to build a diaspora palace here in Badagry. They want to invest in tourism and other parts here in Nigeria. So this is the diaspora content to tourism. I hope that we build on it, sustain it, and ensure that it grows bigger and bigger.
Reduced drastically now. Domestic slavery has reduced drastically. When you could see people with a bag, they'll put about 3 children inside a bag, and customs and excise, immigrations, the soldiers, they are trying their best to curb domestic slavery.
Anna Gosho, the tour guide, took the visitors through the various historical sites relating to the slave trade. The sites visited included the Barracoon of Seriki Williams, which has 2 cells where male and female slaves were separately kept for several days tied down in chains before the movement to the sea. They also visited other historical sites and monuments revealing the true perspectives of the transatlantic slave trade. For the participants, the experience of the Door of Return Festival was an eye-opener and a reminder of the past with a view to work towards a freer and more liberal society.
You are still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We will return shortly. To stay with us.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics,
You give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not about you in itself.
Let me finish.
But there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent developments shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No. It's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its high horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back. Now, the federal government is set to introduce a new foreign exchange policy, which includes a crackdown on illegal currency trading, with the hopes that it will result in the naira closing its more than 45% gap with the unofficial rate and reaching a fair price by year end. The government plans to clear a backlog of dollar demand estimated at about $6.7 billion, bolster the naira forward market, and set transparent rules for the operations of the unofficial market. Tayo Oyodele, chair of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, said in an interview it also aims to expand the official market to include all legitimate transactions while snuffing out the illicit black market for foreign currency. He said the government believes it will achieve this before the end of the year. Joining us via phone is Daily Trust Group Business Editor Sunday Markel. Mr. Sunday, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening to our viewers.
Now, how realistic would you say this new plan to stabilize a highly volatile forex market?
Well, what we can do is to take the government by its words. If you ask me, in my opinion, I think we have seen worse times as far as the volatility is concerned, and this is likely due to scarcity in the official window. So basically, what we are seeing is a pressure that ordinarily should be accommodated in the official window now being transferred to the parallel market or the black market, as we like to call them in Nigeria. So if the government make through its demand, its promise, and it's able to attract as much as $10 billion, as we think, that will be more than enough to, as you have mentioned in your in the story, take care of the about $6.7 billion of past due obligations, and we have some left to on the spot demand, and from there we see how the market goes.
Now, going back, many administrations in the past have tried and failed to tame the parallel market. Do you think it will work this time around?
So it's not rocket science, basically. It's about demand and supply. So for every instrument or item in Nigeria, or commodity, if you like, the more there are, those commodities becomes scarce, then the higher the prices. In the case of the dollar, we are not selling anything to the international market. We are basically losing steam on all fronts, save for the sale of crude oil, which we have even done, we have continued to do at the crude level for nearly 40 years. So we're not selling refined petroleum, so we are not earning more from the market. We are basically digging up goods and pushing them out for people who can add value and sell some part of those to us. In terms of exports, we are doing very badly on some of the areas where we should be leading producers. So if we continue, if this continue and we do not find a way to diversify in real terms now, not just words or rhetoric, if we continue, remember the population does not care whether or not your economic indices are growing. We are growing at over 3% annually. And that is why we are estimated to hit about 400 million in another 10 years. It would not matter what we do to the economy. That population will continue to grow. Demand will continue to expand. And if we do not find a way of expanding this economy and making foreign exchange, we will continue to be in this quagmire.
Okay, Sunday Markel is the Daily Trust Group Business Editor. Thank you so much for joining us at this hour.
The gratitude is mine. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, moving on. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has emphasized the need for a regulatory framework for emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, AI, and robotics. He made this known at the 2022-2023 convocation ceremony of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, University of Benin, on Monday. According to a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Musa Abdullahi Kreshi, while the Speaker acknowledged the benefits of these technologies, he however highlighted the need to prevent their misuse and abuse. He noted that technological innovations such as AI present opportunities for better healthcare, safer transport, more efficient manufacturing, and cheaper energy. The Speaker stated that the 10th House of Representatives will engage stakeholders and experts on issues related to AI's integration into education while addressing privacy, accountability, ethics, security, and intellectual property concerns. Now, away from Nigeria, Israel's military said on Monday that it had struck over 600 targets in Gaza in the past 24 hours, one of the heaviest bombardments yet in its war on Hamas, and that its forces killed dozens of terrorists through the night in the Palestinian territory. Dozens of Israeli tanks rolled into the fringes of Gaza City on Monday. The city is usually the most densely populated urban area in the territory, but many residents have left following repeated Israeli evacuation orders. Hamas said on Sunday it was engaged in heavy fighting with Israeli troops on the ground in northern Gaza. Meanwhile, the UN said 33 trucks carrying water, food, and medical supplies had entered Gaza from Egypt on Sunday. It is one of the largest humanitarian aid deliveries to date, but still far short of the 100 trucks per day that aid groups say are needed. Phone and internet services were gradually returning to Gaza after an almost complete communications blackout that began late Friday evening following intense Israeli airstrikes. And now let's join Emmanuel Fashemi for the latest on Sports News Update.
Nigerian Football Federation General Secretary Dr. Mohammed Sanusi has charged the Super Falcons to play as a team when they tackle the Lucy of Ethiopia in the second leg of the Paris 2024 Olympic qualifier clash. Sanusi echoed this after watching their training at the Tough Arena, reminding the players and officials that Nigeria has been absent from the past 3 women Olympic football tournaments. Rasheedat Ajibade's stunning equalizer helped Nigeria to a 1-1 draw at the Abibe Bikila Stadium, Addis Ababa, in the first leg. The winner over 2 legs will face the winner of the Cameroon-Uganda tie in the third round of the series. Uganda hold a 2-0 advantage over the indomitable Lionesses. Meanwhile, World Football Governing Body FIFA confirmed over the weekend to have paid each federation the prize monies promised to players who participated at the 2023 Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. The Super Falcons players will each collect $60,000 through NFF after they got to the round of 16 of the competition. Their Jamaican counterparts have already received their cash after they also reached the knockout rounds of the World Cup. Spanish football chief Luis Rubiales has been handed a 3-year ban by FIFA
due to his first kiss on the lips of World Cup winner Jenny Hermoso. The Apex Football ruling body provisionally suspended Rubiales for 90 days following the incident during medal presentation after Spain beat England in the final to win their first ever Women's World Cup trophy. FIFA said on Monday in a statement, Rubiales will now be banned from all football-related activities for 3 years. According to FIFA, the decision remains subject to appeal before her appeal committee. Rubiales, who continually insisted the kiss was consensual, resigned as head of the Spanish Football Federation in September 2023. And that is it on sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.